Hello, everyone. My name's Stacy Cleveland,
I'm Kashif Hadley.
and we are here to present to you about trauma in the community.
I am a school social worker. My client, Nicole, is a 9-year-old who has been experiencing bullying in school. Nicole, I am the school social worker here at Red Clay Elementary. Like your teachers, we are concerned of your behavior that you have been demonstrating in class. I want to let you know that I'm here to protect you from any bullying that has or is still occurring to you. Children who experience bullying can go through physical acts. These physical acts are examples such as hitting, kicking, and tripping. Not only that, but there are also verbal acts that can be examples such as name calling or teasing. Nicole, if you are experiencing bullying, it may cause you to have aggressive behavior, and at times you may become depressed. School is supposed to be a safe space, and you should feel happy coming to school. Therefore, if you are experiencing bullying or have experienced bullying, I want you to know that I, as a social worker, can help you. Nicole, I want to thank you for coming and taking a moment to talk to me.
Hi, I'm Stacy Cleveland, and today I will be talking to Jamal, who is age 14. Jamal has experienced bullying to other children his age in his neighborhood, which then moved over into their school environment. Jamal is afraid of becoming a victim, therefore, he chooses to mind his own business, but believes that it would never happen to him. So, a social worker was called to come and talk to the children in school and educate them regarding bullying in individual sessions. Hello, Jamal. Thank you for coming today. So, we're here to talk about bullying that you have witnessed in your neighborhood and your school. So, I understand that bullying is not an easy topic to talk about, but I'm here to share some information with you about bullying. So, bullying means to try to harm, intimidate, or pick on people who are not so strong. Kids who are bullied usually feel sad and lonely, have health problems, and may not do as well in school because they're always afraid. And sometimes the kids who are being bullied are so afraid that sometimes they try to fight back in a very violent way that may even harm innocent people or may hurt themselves. So, something else I want to talk to you about regarding bullying is that some kids bully others because they've been bullied before. And sometimes it's even in their own homes. Also, most kids who are the bystander, those that are just watching, are they usually wind up having some type of what we call mental health problems, or using tobacco products like cigarettes or alcohol and other drugs. They might even miss school. So, the last thing I want to tell you, Jamal, is I want you to know that if you see something, say something. Make sure you go to an adult that you trust about what's going on. And always, always look for an adult you can trust if you think you might be in trouble or in danger. So I hope this information I shared with you today was very helpful. I thank you so much, Jamal, for coming to see me today.
Hello, my name is Kashif Hadley, and today I'll be providing you with a brief description of how trauma can affect an adult in relationship to their community. Today I have the pleasure to meet with 52-year-old Miss Young, who currently works as a financial consultant for a big time company. I want to thank you, Miss Young, for making some time to sit down to discuss some of your traumatic experiences. Ms. Young decided to come in today in order to discuss a series of unfortunate events that happened while she was at work. Over the last year, Ms. Young has grown fearful of a coworker who has been verbally abusive on many occasions. Ms. Young considers this antagonistic coworker to be a bully and has become or becomes lightheaded when thinking about returning back to work. The area that I will be discussing is community trauma for adults that have been bullied in the workplace. So, Ms. Young, one thing that we know is that trauma can affect a person through such things as natural disasters, sexual assaults, or by suffering a traumatic brain injury. For our session today, we will focus our attention on community trauma and how that could affect you physically, emotionally, psychologically, and even socially. Now, Ms. Young, when I talk about trauma, it's easy for us to think that trauma only, or bullying only happens when it comes to adolescents or children, but bullying can also happen with adults as well. And normally what happens with trauma is that trauma describes a deeply distressing or disturbing experience that happens to a person's life. Much like your experience with being bullied at your job, it seems as if the last year or so has been a traumatic experience for you. So I really applaud you for making the time to come in to discuss this matter. Community trauma occurs when an individual or group is exposed to an intentional act or impersonal violence that's committed within a public space. Community trauma can occur in a person's neighborhood, in the school setting, or even in your case, in the workplace. Community trauma can happen suddenly and often provides little to no warning to the individual. So like your situation, it just abruptly happened and it consistently persisted over time. At times, community trauma can result from an accident, or it can be a deliberate act, like in your case, where the coworker is verbally being abusive over the course of a year. That was something that was deliberate. Either way, community violence can severely traumatize and result in you living in a heightened state of fear and anxiety. As we focus a little more on bullying, it's easy for us to assume that bullying can only occur with children, but as we know and we discussed earlier, it can happen with adults as well. So as an adult, it's important that you understand that bullying is a form of peer victimization that usually happens repeatedly over a span of time. Adult bullying can inflict social, emotional, physical, and psychological harm, which we'll discuss, to you, and can be a root cause of trauma in your life. So as in your case, Ms. Young, bullying in the workplace can be seen as harassment. And even though the situation was dealt with, the fact that the offensive language, that she made threats, the mockery, that impacted you. And we want to be cognizant of that as well. Extreme micromanaging is a form of bullying and is using any use of intimidation. These actions can affect the brain psychologically, and your brain can be affected in the aspect of you performing your job duties. So real quick, psychologically in the workplace, bullying can bring on fear, anxiety, PTSD, or if you are transferred to a new department, you may have fear that another coworker will repeat those actions as well. Physically, it can impact you in regards to added stress, increased heart rate, being dizzy, nausea. It can physically affect you with weight gain if you rely upon eating or different things of that nature to kind of cope with the situation. High blood pressure, shortness of breath. Emotionally, trauma can result in negative thoughts, crying, becoming emotionally numb, guilty, shame, mood, fluctuation, or even anger. Adult bullying can weigh in on the emotions to a point that you may have displaced anger and become upset with other coworkers, which you've told me that you've been upset with some coworkers, and they really weren't the perpetrators in your situation. The last thing is socially. If you have experienced trauma as a result of bullying, it could make you apprehensive to make new friends. You could become fearful of social interactions, especially with your job working in finances. You have to build healthy relationships. You have to communicate with people, and this trauma has affected that. And I applaud you for coming in to discuss it. You can begin to feel socially awkward, and as a result, feel isolated. So in short, you may not want to be around people, or you may fear that you will be bullied again. So socially, you may not want to go that route. But overall, Mission, I thank you for taking the time to sit down with me to talk about your traumatic experience. I look forward to putting in or discussing ways that we can help you through some therapeutic treatments that can help you overcome your trauma and get back to work and overcome this trauma and be triumphant.
Well, thank you so much for listening to our presentation. I hope that you all enjoyed it.
Thank you.